Yes, we are back with another video. I'm gonna try to get a lot recorded while I'm in the mood, so this is one of them. The hidden costs of long playtimes in modern gaming. Let's see what this video is talking about. And if you don't know, it is your boy Kexis. That's me. I'm your boy. So let's hop right into it.
Right now, ask yourself, how many games do you currently have that are halfway finished that you tell yourself, yeah?
Wait.
Right now, ask yourself, how many games do you currently have that are halfway finished that you tell yourself, yeah?
I've got a few. I've got a few. I got a few.
Yeah, I'll get back to that, knowing fully well you won't, or even worse, games that you'd love to play but have been gathering dust because you literally don't have the time to play them at all.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot! Hey fellas, it's your friendly neighborhood circle guy, and today I want to jump into what I believe to be a massive contributor to the problem I just mentioned and spout my gaming opinions that absolutely nobody asked for. Charles!
The thing about gaming opinions is you can always find someone to resonate with them, no matter if you think they're good, bad, unpopular, popular, hot take, cold take, whatever. There's someone out there who's like, yeah, this guy gets it.
Bring me my soapbox! I don't think it is necessarily a good thing for every game to try to have hundreds of hours of gameplay. Okay, let me explain.
There is like this. I can kind of tell. There kind of has been like this. Every game has to have some pseudo light, either it's roguelike element or like endless, like not endless. So it's either a roguelike element or it's like just mundane tasks to do to keep you in the game. But that kind of has been on the rise since those games do well in this niche market, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of complicated. It depends on the type of game. 100%.
Lately, I've seen this shift in mainstream gaming, this Hail Mary attempt at a forever game, something with endless content, something you could play infinitely. And I'm not talking about games that can technically be played as long as you want. I'm specifically talking about games with an overabundance of scripted, achievable things, quests, missions, moments, you know, that juicy content. Games like MMOs and certain RPGs aren't really new to this grind.
I need you to slay 1,000 spiders for no reason whatsoever other than to increase playtime.
Ooh, this is exciting. Does this come with a vest and a name tag? Because I wasn't aware I just clocked in my new place of fucking employment! Now, video game grinding has existed since the birth of at-home game consoles. Older games would increase the difficulty or remove checkpoints as a way to keep the player playing, mostly due to hard...
Problem is, only MMOs make grinding fun. Because grinding is part of the MMO experience. That's why I say it depends on the context. Some games, and it does work with RPGs in a way, because grinding gets you levels, gets you skill points or new skills. New skills help with the battle that is to come. But eventually, in those type of games, you know there's a boss, and once you clear the boss, you're done. But again, there's like this shift, and I'm sure will talk about it.
Hardware limitations. When your cartridge housed a few megabytes of storage, sometimes kilobytes, it was up to the developer on how to keep you tethered while simultaneously making sure you didn't blaze through the game. It was clever, often...
Dude, funny enough, there was several games on Nintendo 64 that we didn't have memory cards, so we just kept the game on. I think I had to play Gomon like that. I had to play a few GameCube games like that, because for some reason you needed a memory card for the GameCube, and it was so small. And you let a friend borrow it, you let your cousin borrow it, whatever. You're not getting it back. So, like, I remember we had to play Smash Bros. Without a memory card. We had to play Diddy Kong Racing without a memory card. But we kept the game on. We never had problems.
bullshit,
Me
but an
personally.
understandable practice. This isn't necessarily what I'm getting at here, but it's the foundation of this fabricated playtime that I want to jump into. It matters knowing this, but being able to differentiate this somewhat necessary archaic version and the new abomination we'd later receive. But sure, I get it. We want our
Game
games
world.
to last a while. We never want fun experiences to end. And on top of that, we also want some bang for our buck. Nothing feels worse than being hyped for a game for months just to have it last a few hours. But I got some issues with how
That
every
happens all the
single
time, bro.
goddamn game is expected to last forever now. Live service games drip feeding their players with season after season of updates, reuse content, weird time-consuming systems where they don't need to be, crafting, and literally fucking everything. It
Everything.
seems. Quit it with the fucking crafting! God! And this isn't even the end of it. Even before updates and additional content post-launch, every game is expected to also release with enough content to keep you busy until you're fucking dead. Some of you may think, well, isn't it good to strive for more rather than to settle for less? And that would be the case if it weren't for the glaring fact that this current time-sucking content hellscape is lowering the quality of games across the board consistently. Not only do so many games try to promise this unobtainable content paradise, but nearly all of them fail when they do. Content gets rushed,
The human
recycled, or even
toll
cut
of
and
Fallout
resold
3's
later on
disastrous
at an
launch.
additional cost.
Human toll? Oh, I don't know what that means.
A finished game filled with a ton of content and post-launch content
Hold on.
instantly. Not only do so many games try to promise this unobtainable content paradise, but nearly all of them fail when they do. Content gets rushed, recycled, or even cut and resold later on at an additional cost. A finished game filled with a ton of content and post-launch content on the way being developed during a spike in crunch culture is the single worst recipe an evil witch could brew up in her comically large evil cauldron.
What are we making, Master?
Infinite Radiant Quest! So, what exactly is content? Nowadays,
I like the
games wanna be a
animation, it's pretty
buffet
good.
of content, where not really much of it is that great, but oh wow, holy shit, there's so much here. They even got that weird-ass dumpling with old meat in it. Sometimes they'll even add to it and drip feed paid content like battle passes, and other times they'll have seasonal events meant to weaponize FOMO. I know this argument has been made about DLC and pre-order expansion passes and stuff, but I think the real issue here has been brushed under
Dude, standard edition, deluxe edition, gold edition, standard, gold, platinum, battle pass, level up. I mean, my thing is you just don't buy into it if you don't want to. But I don't know. Diablo 4 kind of got us by the hooks. Not gonna lie.
the rug, and that's the fact that more games today are attempting to steal your attention forever, and almost no game can do that through quality. Far Cry 6, Dying Light 2, Ghostwire Tokyo, Horizon Forbidden West, Watch Dogs Legion, Days Gone, Outriders, Biomutant, Gotham Knights, basically every single Assassin's Creed game ever made, and especially Death Stranding. You know what all of these games have in common? The fact that if you removed half of the content, you'd only be improving the final product. If your game supposedly has a wealth of amazing things, I want to see them. Why would you hide them behind walls of garbage filler? And of course I would expect every game to blow
That's true.
my mind every 10 milliseconds like a toddler with short-term memory loss. That's not the issue. And dude, I understand online multiplayer and single-player games have vastly different expectations and common features, but I'm conflating the two mostly because this issue is prevalent in both. What I'm getting at is, one day I will be dead. One day I will be cuddled up with the worms and moles of the world, but before that inevitable day comes, I will be enjoying video games as much as I can. And when I have
I
to balance
agree.
my work, social life, sleep, and other stuff with video games, that leaves
My thing is gym and work. And I agree, man. Sometimes it's like it's hard. I'm gonna say that. Because it's like once you've committed yourself to a live service game, you basically don't even consider about playing another game. It's not possible. Like you just don't have time to play a live service game. And even if you do, you kind of like are begrudgingly doing so. In my opinion, it's like you play this live service game and then you play like another game you kind of don't really want to play, but you kind of really don't even like your live service game. You're just playing it because it feels it just feels refreshing, feels familiar. It's a weird trap that they have us in, honestly.
Gives me an extremely small sliver of time for those games. And when I expand that inner sliver, you're gonna see I don't have a lot of time to fuck around doing nothing in them! And that's coming from a dude where video games is a portion of my job. This is even worse for everyone else. There is so much fluff, filling, padding, and stuffing in modern video games, and the longer a game's average playtime gets, the more you're gonna find it. Waiting to make something, forced long travel, backtracking, randomly imposed roadblocks that only exist to increase game length. As a kid, these things are awesome because you have all the time in the world, but when I hop on a game now for 2 hours and get almost
I don't even recall much backtracking in the games I played as a kid. Like, I really can't. Maybe some Mario games. Not even really, like, maybe Super Mario Sunshine a little bit. You know, Mario Castle or Mario 64 or whatever. Some racing. I don't know. It's like I didn't really experience backtracking until I started playing online games.
nothing done, I feel like a damn stooge. Nowadays, someone will recommend me a game like,
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's
Maple
only
Story.
about 6 hours long, but
what did you just say?
it's about 6 hours long.
You don't know how much I needed to hear that.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Because it's a goal that's actually attainable. Jumping back to that backlog of unfinished games I previously mentioned in the intro, really think back to those games. How often were you actually immersed or engaged in the gameplay? How often were you experiencing something new or innovative? Or did you maybe abandon the game due to its overabundance of slog and you never even got to the good advertised stuff whatsoever? You see, right there, that is the issue here.
funny.
It's not expanding the playability, it's restricting it. As I get older, I realize games that have 10 hours of excellent content will almost always be better than games with 30 hours of excellent content and 70 hours of fucking padding.
But look, it has 100 hours of content. Isn't that outstanding?
Deathloop is a great example of a game with backtracking, but simultaneously staying fresh, short, interesting, and concise with its gameplay. Hopping on for an hour and finishing 5 extremely varied fun missions before putting down the controller feels a whole lot better than starting up a mission to listen to a dude talk for 48 minutes while I slowly follow him to a destination to retrieve something stupid and walk all the way back. And listen, I'm not saying RPGs or farming games that go on for billions of hours shouldn't exist. I mean, Christ, I love RPGs.
It's funny.
Obviously, they have their place just as much as short indie experiences do. But my problem is this massive middle blob of games that want to be anything and everything and succeed at nothing while simultaneously being just, I don't know, boring. It seems so many games don't know what they want to be anymore. Video game genre.
That's how I felt playing Have a Nice Death. It's like I get what it was going for, but the fact that it's a roguelike means you have to do it again. And it's not inherently difficult. It's not exactly like it's kind of like Hollow Knight, kind of not. But Hollow Knight has clear like bosses, gear, you kind of level, it has a story to tell. Everything's interesting. All your interactions are interesting. Have a Nice Death is like you play for an hour and 30 minutes. And then you have to do it again. And then you have to do it again. And then you have to do it again. And despite there is different weapons and stuff, different spells sometimes because it's all random, it just doesn't, like, you don't want to do it a third time. Like, there's no reason, there's no incentive to do it a third time. It's like once you've beaten it once, and if you don't care for the story in the game, it's not really worth playing. Which is the opposite of Hades. Like, I get everyone wants to be the next Hades because it seems like that game blew up for no reason, but like, Hades is interesting non-stop. Different dialogue. Like, even now, if I were to play the game, and I've played the game for so long, I'm going to hear dialogue that I have not heard before. It's gonna be like, it's just like these guys, like, he's right, like, people don't know what they want from their games. It's very obvious. It's like you have, I'll get into it later.
As a whole seem to be losing their identity.
Ah, yes, my first-person shooter racing farming sim. This game should have RPG elements and base building. Thank God I added multiplayer. You're gonna want to pre-order for early access to the V12 eggplant shotgun.
There's never enough time to do everything you want. The industry is curving in a way where it's becoming far more acceptable to release a game half-baked with the promise of fixing it or
Saints Row developer responds to backlash. Haters gonna hate. Wow. After being accused of letting down the fan base, the official Saints Row Twitter account decided to jokingly reply with a haters gonna hate gif. Later, the account made a more serious statement declaring that the development team had no intention of backing down on the project. Violation conceded that we get it, it's new, and it's a shock reaction to a reboot like no other, remarking that this sentiment was what fueled the GIF. What? That doesn't even make sense. Multiple other replies accused the game of having a similar art style to Fortnite and questioning its overall sense of direction.
Improving it later on than to delay or take your time crafting a polished work of art. Back in the day, we didn't get updates, patches, and performance updates. Outside of the occasional international release changes, you had to make sure whatever was on that disc or cartridge was worthy of its price tag. And often it wasn't, in fairness. But this rush games out the door, time-crunching development hell world we live in was partially forged in the same crucible that invented the notion that every game must last forever. You know, it actually made me happy to hear when God of War Ragnarok got delayed. Most of the time, delays are positive. Waiting for a refined product will always be better than getting an underdeveloped
I agree.
mess quicker.
I agree, and yet it's like everyone, they fall into the same trap, bro. It's like, isn't it obvious that if you just had some more time to work on it, you would be fine? How is it not obvious? How is it obvious to a consumer but not the ones who can produce the game? I don't understand how there's this like the huge disconnect doesn't even make sense. It just seems so obvious, like pain glaringly obvious. It's like, how can so many people be on the wrong side constantly?
But gamers suck. Gamers are seriously my least favorite group of people, and I should know I'm sadly one of them. No matter what you try to do, they'll never be happy.
That's true. That's also very true. That's so very true. It's so true.
Which route, developer? Release the game too soon and get shit on, or delay a game and still get shit on? The choice is yours, my friend!
Whoa.
Speaking of crunch, while writing this video, me and my friends made the extremely poor decision of firing up Anthem. Remember that travesty? It's on Game Pass anyway, and we did this on the condition that we'd only check out the mainline content, none of the grindy, worthless crap. Because yeah, mech suits that fly around.
I thought this game got canceled. And this was one of the games where I was looking forward to it because they were like, you can fly around and there's builds and stuff. And then after seeing the UI, I was like, this game is not it.
Controlling the fucking weather is pretty badass. And you know what we learned? The art design is breathtaking. The sound design is superb. The game plays and feels amazing. Everything is snappy and crisp. Just flying around is enjoyable. But you know what isn't enjoyable? The fact that this game went through development hell trying to be a
Bioware says Anthem was in development before Destiny came out, but that doesn't mean it was an influence. Anthem disaster unravels farther a Destiny 2 loot system ripoff. Oh.
Destiny killer by adding grindy, unintuitive, stupid systems that uproot you from the actual fun moments just to shove some UI disaster or worthless dialogue in your face. Anytime you're
Ooh, that art looks so good.
Fun moments just to shove some UI disaster or worthless.
Look at her. That looks pretty good. It looks like somebody I know someone who looks just like that almost.
Dialogue in your face. Anytime you're caught red-handed having fun, the game forces you to stop everything you're doing so you can go not have fun. Thank God, fellas, I forgot these games were supposed to make me miserable. What? These types of games hold the concept of end game content over your head as if you have to sift through the garbage to make it to the real game. But guess what, dipshit? I didn't make it to the end game content because the base game fucking sucked. Anthem could have been an extremely fun 8 to 10 hour co-op action game, but we just couldn't have that because BioWare was apparently visited by 3 ghosts that night. The ghost of a worthless open world, the ghost of repetitive missions, and the ghost of tedious, stupid crafting. What matters at the end of all of this?
And I think that's why Borderlands 2 is still so good. The Borderlands 2 does not have any of this. Hold on.
The ghost of a worthless open
Borderlands 2 open world is not worthless. You see some of that's where the characters are. That's where the fighting happens. It feels good to go from one zone to the next. It's not too much. There's loot to be had and found everywhere.
world, the ghost of repetitive missions.
Borderlands 2, again, all you really have to do is the main quest. You can do Borderlands 1 and 2, obviously. You can do side missions. You do it kind of expands your perspective on the cast and all that. And it kind of lets the writing shine a little bit more. in the side missions. So I don't remember thinking the missions were repetitive.
And the ghost of tedious, stupid crafting!
And it had no crafting. Goat game.
What matters at the end of all of this is that we all need to unanimously push for. In the way this segment hopefully ties a bow around the point I'm making, the vision of every game also needs to find its little bow. Look at him go, oh, whoa, shit. I firmly believe aimless single-player checklist games are some of the worst games ever made. They don't respect your time, they don't strive for anything meaningful, they're a job with no pay and a boss that demands too much of you. These forever endlessly supported multiplayer games would always rather drag a carrot on a stick than actually make worthwhile gameplay features. There is a wealth of outstanding AAA and indie games that don't fall into this massive, all-consuming category that I challenge you to seek out and enjoy. Here's an extremely varied list of games that properly appreciate your time, that you can utilize as medicine whenever you feel yourself falling into these traps.
Earth Defense Forces, Hyper Light Drifter, Deep Rock Galactic is on here. Hey, Vampire Survivors, Firewatch. I don't know what Ready or I don't know half these games. I've seen their name, but I don't even know what half these are. But Vampire Survivors, GOAT game.
Now listen, I know this list is psychotic, unorganized, and truly deranged, but I think these games perfectly emphasize what I'm talking about. All of these games are super fun, and they're consistently fun and diversely engaging the whole time despite being extremely different from one another. And just as a wise man once said, if the game's not fun, why bother?
That was fun. Pretty fun video, not gonna lie. Give that guy a like. That was cool. Overall, fun, entertaining video. I agree, and yet I am looking forward to a live action service game. So, live action service. Whoa, a live service game. We'll see how Diablo 4 kind of handles these issues. But I'm still looking forward to it. Anyways, that's the video. Thanks for watching. I will definitely see you guys in the next video. And you know the motto, tell someone you appreciate them, because I appreciate you guys watching. Tell someone you love them, and peace.